is this dumbass napping on the toilet? What's taking him so long?
I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest.
Barack, this better be important, I swear to God.
Yes, Don, it is very important.
Did Sleepy Joe finally kick the bucket?
I'm literally in the call, you jackass.
Yeah, I didn't ask.
Donald, we pinged you because we're finally going to finish the Godzilla tier list.
Oh, for real? I thought we gave up on that. I'm down to finish it.
Are we just going to ignore why we sound so different?
Joe, you're literally in the group chat. We all got new mics over the holidays.
Jesus, how bad is the dementia beating your ass for you to forget that?
Okay, it's already been way too long. Let's finish this thing, starting with Godzilla Earth.
One of the very few things I won't fault this trilogy on.
Agreed, this is an all-around solid design.
The only atomic breath that is more destructive than Minus One.
We also can't ignore that this is the largest Godzilla ever put to screen.
By all accounts, a solid design, though I'm only saying B tier.
Gotta go with Bush on that one.
I'm inclined to agree. There's just better designs out there.
Probably the best placement this trilogy will ever see.
All right, King of the Monsters. Easy S tier.
Slow your roll there, buddy. King of the Monsters isn't S tier.
Chicken who dropped out says what?
What?
We got him.
Not really a flex, but okay.
George, the last time you flexed, the housing market crashed.
Okay, back to the tier list. King of the Monsters is a straight upgrade from the 2014 design.
More screen time for this design is always welcome.
You can really feel the power in this atomic breath every time it's used.
It built off of what 2014 created and set the standard for the Monsterverse Godzilla look. I'd say a high A tier.
Put it behind Tokyo SOS. That seems like a fair placement.
A tier for King of the Monsters. I suppose that brings us to his burning form.
No burning Godzilla design can beat the original in appearance, but this is still awesome.
Not gonna lie, they should have used this as a perfect moment to bring back the red spiral heat ray.
That take right there is why Republicans are better.
That's rich coming from you with your Shin Godzilla take, Donald.
My point still stands.
Even without using the traditional atomic breath, the nuclear pulse is still great.
The addition of the melting buildings is also a nice touch. I think this should be top of A tier.
Valid point, I'll agree to that ranking.
I'm fine with an A tier.
Hey, Georgie boy, what are the two things that burn hotter than burning Godzilla?
I already know what you're gonna say, so just say it, Don.
A supernova and a black hole.
Oh, that's actually not what I thought you were gonna say.
Nah, just kidding. It's the towers, dumbass.
You're such a dick.
Now we get to rank the Godzilla versus Kong design.
Not too many changes from King of the Monsters, but I vibe with this design more.
I think it's the deeper blue they made the atomic breath. It just hits better.
I like how they made the power of the atomic breath scale to how much energy Godzilla has. It's a nice touch.
I'm thinking a low S tier behind Baby Godzilla.
A low S tier works for me.
Me as well. The GvK design gets a low S tier.
Oh boy, I forgot Singular Point even existed. I lost all enthusiasm once we learned First Form Godzilla wasn't actually Titanosaurus.
It's not a bad show, but you're not missing much. It just feels like Shin Godzilla somewhat.
Same quality as Shin Godzilla?
Oh God, no.
I'll just skip it then in that case.
I guess that means we're starting with his first form.
I mean, just look at it. The design is screaming Titanosaurus vibes.
They pulled a city on the edge of battle and teased a monster that never appeared. F tier.
I'm siding with Donald. This design just doesn't look like Godzilla.
Probably the quickest F tier on the whole list.
Now, Godzilla 98 was definitely faster.
Speaking of Godzilla 98, since you're back in the White House, what's your plan to get that movie blacklisted?
No clue, because JD is a fan of it.
That sucks. Anyway, Singular Point Godzilla's second form.
God damn, that thing is ugly.
It just looks more like Varan than Godzilla. I'm saying F tier again.
I'm not opposed to that.
Damn, 2 consecutive F tiers. That's a first.
Okay, now we're getting something that actually resembles Godzilla with Singular Point's third form.
The ring breath was a nice reference to the Showa era of Godzilla, but that's about the only thing I like about this design.
It also loses points for how hunched over it is.
It's the T-Rex arms that really hurt this design for me. I'm thinking top of D tier.
Top of D tier is being rather generous, but I'm not opposed to it.
I'm okay with that placement. It looks better than most of the other D tier designs anyway.
Finally, we have the Godzilla Ultima design, the best design in the show by a mile.
Now, this is a proper Godzilla design. The show would have been better if we just started off with this.
Probably a wild take here. But I actually think the charge up is better than the actual atomic breath.
That's valid. I don't really feel the destruction of the attack. The charge up kind of overhypes it.
I agree with George and Joe. The atomic breath just doesn't have the weight to it that the charge up has.
Still a decent design, all things considered. How does mid-B tier behind Godzilla Earth sound?
Sounds good.
I'm cool with it.
Seems like we've settled on a B tier for Godzilla Ultima.
Looks like it's Gemstone Godzilla next.
I really like this design. It takes a bit from the modern style and the traditional Heisei look.
I don't care what anyone says, this is Godzilla Jr. all grown up.
Atomic breath looks, sounds, and has power to it. Godzilla Jr. really got the total package.
Really not a lot to hate about this design. I vote to put it in A tier with the other Heisei designs.
Seems fair to me.
I'm good with an A tier ranking.
Since we've done regular Gemstone, let's do his burning form now.
Genuinely surprised how well the white accents work with this design. It really goes hard.
That white atomic breath really packs a punch.
Only thing that caused more explosions is Barack's drone strikes on the Middle East.
Uncalled for, Donald.
Yeah, Donald, that was pretty uncalled for.
You know what else was uncalled for? The entirety of Iraq.
The same can be said for January 6th.
Let's keep moving. Where are we thinking in terms of a rank for this design?
All burning forms go pretty damn hard. I say mid-S tier. What do we think?
Fully agree with you there. Throw it in S tier.
More partial to a G tier, but I'll settle for an S.
Burning Gemstone gets a mid-S tier. And now it's time for Godzilla Minus One's Godzillasaurus.
When we went to see this film in the theater, I was not expecting to see this guy again.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
It's basically just a modern makeover of the Godzillasaurus from 1991.
They took an old concept and made it work for an incredible movie, but I think it's only a low C tier.
You have a point, Joe, but this is definitely higher than a low C.
It's a solid design, but also doesn't stray too far from the traditional Godzilla look. I think top of C tier is fair.
I gotta side with George on this. Top of C sounds good.
The modern Godzillasaurus gets top of C tier, and now Godzilla Minus One.
Does anyone have criticisms about this design?
Not really. This is hands down the best Godzilla we've gotten in the past 10 years.
I raise you the atomic breath charge up in devastation. Need more be said?
Can we all agree this is a unanimous G tier?
Yes.
Second only to Burning Godzilla?
Yes.
That was the correct answer.
Only two left to rank. First is Blue Thermo Godzilla.
Gonna be honest, this one doesn't hit as hard for me. That and the limited screen time.
It's just a blue burning Godzilla. There's not much to talk about here. I'm saying lower A tier behind Gemstone.
Yeah, lower A tier seems fair for this one.
Can't really argue with that.
Finally, we've reached the end with Evolved Godzilla.
I definitely vibe with the dorsal spikes design, but the pink isn't my favorite.
It's a cool design for a Godzilla supercharged with energy, but I hope this isn't the new normal and we'll get the blue atomic breath back.
What are we thinking for a rank? I was going to vote top of B tier.
Nah, A tier's more fitting for this one. Put it above Blue Thermo Godzilla.
I'm siding with Barack on this one, A tier.
Well, it took just about 9 months and an election, but we finished this tier list.
Feels like a weight was just lifted off my chest.
Oh, by the way, everyone check their Steam accounts. I dipped into the Medicaid money for a little present.
Damn, premium deluxe edition of Monster Hunter Wilds.
You bet. I pre-ordered a copy for all of us.
Well, I know what we're doing for the next week.